Okay, I'm just going to go over the most recent trades. 2 wins, 2 losses. So AMTD, I had previously made a video on this one, buying it for the first time, I think on the 1st of August. I was selling all the way up on this big move here, all the way up to 13, 14, 15 level, I think it went to. So my most recent trade on this one, AMTD, was on the 15th of August. So you can see had a big run up and it came down. And in this area, it's been holding basically. So you can see it's this 220 area it's been holding. So the reason for my entry was I've been over the financials. So I knew they make money and all different reasons. I've gone over in my previous video for originally trading AMTD. I'll post a link in the video below. I'll post a link below if you'd like to go and watch that. I just go in detail of why I originally entered this stock. So if you'd like to watch that one, you'll find the link in the description. So it came down here and pushed below this 220 area and held, retested and held. Again here, it came down, I think a couple of days later, pushed under that 220 again, and it just kept holding. Again there, pre-market, and as the market opened, it came under. So yeah, it's safe to say that this 220 was going to hold. You can see back here, there's a bit of resistance here as well. So yeah, it became support, and I figured this would be a good entry for it to come back up. Let's get into the executions. I got in this pre-market. Okay, so I got in 150 shares at $2.20. My risk was going to be under 210, and it did come down, but it was so fast I didn't even have a chance to get out, so it's kind of lucky really. So yeah, I stayed in this trade, and then it regained the 220 area, so I got another 75 shares here again at 220. When the market opened, it came down again. I was starting to get a bit worried about this one. I was trying to reduce my loss, so I thought I'd get out 100 of shares here, and realized I made a mistake. Got the back those 100 shares, so a couple cent loss there on 100 shares. That's no big deal, but I realized I didn't want to just keep entering and exiting when it looked worse and looked better, so I decided I'd just hold it then. If it stopped me out, that's fine, under 208, and if it went, then great. So it regained that level again, came back down, broke it once again. So it was a bit of an up and down on this trade, but it never, apart from back here, it never got back to anywhere near my stop. I did add again at 223 when I saw a bit of volume coming in and regained that level once again. So that was a good area to add. So I added another 75 shares. So I was in 300 shares total. Originally, I looked at the daily chart. Let me bring that one back here. It was this day, and I thought, where's the most likely areas for it to go to? Well, 260 area was sort of my between 260 and 280. So all of these moving averages, I've got a few different ones on the chart, but yeah, 260 was my target really. But 250, I was willing to get rid of shares in that area because, you know, it's the $0.50, generally has some resistance there. I didn't want it to potentially reverse on me all the way back down just because of another 10 cents of profit. So yeah, so I held it all the way up on this spike. It was nice and quick, so I was pretty pleased with that. Big volume came in, 245. I exited out of 225 shares, and the other 75 shares I exited on at 254. So overall, entries weren't bad, and the exit was pretty good. I was very happy with that. You can see it's in the top of the range. I was just trying to play it safe there, but it was a very nice trade. I'm really happy with that. Came back down, did come up again, and eventually went on to spike quite a bit higher, up to the 340s. So there was a lot more to be made, but my original plan was to buy it in that low area, sell it, you know, right up into those moving averages. And originally, you know, I was right to do that. I also would have held for a pullback, go up again, held for a pullback, so it's just not worth it. So that trade was really good. Made $70.43. So the next one was PRTY, and this one was pretty frustrating actually, because I saw they had good earnings. So that's mainly what I think was driving this stock. Volume came in, decent volume, over 20 million shares on this day, trending up all day, being bought up. So I saw it in this candle here. I was tempted to buy, but I decided against it, and I would have been massively right. Risk, I was going to go in 2.8, risk under 198. Just didn't do it for whatever reason. I'm not sure why, but as soon as I decided not to, started to spike. I was pretty annoyed, but that's okay. I did enter. I was waiting all day for a nice panic. So let's look at the 5-minute chart. So as it was coming up, I thought, what's the best place I could enter on a dip buy for this? And that would have been absolute best, would have been that 191 area. But there was a good possibility that it stopped in the 195 area and retraced. So this was the two areas I wanted to get in. The best one would have been the 191 area, risking under this low here of 185, so only like a 10-ish cent stop. I didn't do great on the entries, so my original entry was 198, 250 shares, and then it actually messed up because it went past that 196, 195 area, all the way down to 188, 87. I got in another 100 shares at 191. Problem is that my average was completely skewed. My average was 196, I think, or something like that. So my original thesis was for it to come down to this 196 and back up to the 110 range. So about a 10-cent stop, maybe a little bit more, for about 10-15 cents. I thought this was quite a high probability setup, but because it went all the way down to this 187 area, really it could only push up to 2. So I should have really taken it at 2. I waited to see if it would push above. It didn't, so I just got out 195, 194. That's my exits, and it eventually went back up to my target of 210. Happens sometimes, you know. It went a bit further than I was hoping, so it affected the trade. It can go back as far as fast. So that's that. I made a loss of $8.68, but it was still a good setup. I'm gonna continue to look for similar ones. Anyway, next one, CLWT. You can see on the daily chart here, they've had quite a big run up. This was one I traded in this area, and it had a really big green day, massive volume. I've been through all the financials again on this one, but they've been making money, so that gave me confidence to be able to dip buy this one. So on the big green day, this was the chart, gapped up high and just struggled to get higher. Really, it had a big sell-off over a couple-hour period. This was the key resistance at 2-ish for me. I saw it break under, and I was tempted to get an entry, but I was just waiting to see if I saw any sort of extra indicator, and I did. I saw a big quantity go on the ask, which quickly got bought up down these lows. So as soon as I saw that was being bought up, I entered. So my original entry was 194. Risk was under the 190 area, so 189, and took profit at 201. It wasn't bad, 7 cents profit versus 5-cent risk or something. Just again trying to look for predictable areas to buy, generally on certain like breaks of support which recover. If it's been panicking, basically, like that other PRTY stock, they tend to reverse quite nicely after big moves like that. So profit for CLWT. Okay, for CLWT, it was around $20 profit after commissions. So nothing great, but just trying to build a bit of confidence in different areas where I'm trading. So yeah, just taking small size for the minute. Okay, the last trade was EDRY, EURODRY Limited. So it's this Greek shipping stock. You can see it had been down to support on the dailies. Financials are amazing, $3.61 in the last quarter. So, you know, they're making a decent amount of money. $3.64 in the previous quarter before that. Financially, it looks very nice. So I got it at 18.10 and 18.25 on this first green day here. It's such low volume stock though, it's tricky as hell. Okay, so the average was about $18 and 18.5 cents. My risk was going to be under this $16 area, so under the previous low on the daily chart. My target was going to be $24 on this one. You can see where they've been, where they are now. I was hoping for a good move up into the 24 area. So I was looking about 3 times my risk. It started to go up. I was up about $1 or $2 per share. I was in 40 shares, so I wasn't doing anything too crazy. I started with 20 shares, added 20 shares after their earnings report, which came out. They made money. That's all I really cared about at that time. And the stock didn't react in a negative way, so I bought another 20 shares. 40 shares, a couple of days are gone. It started to come back down again. I was getting a bit worried about this stock. It's got no volume. It's just crap. So I exited out of half the position at break even, thinking about getting rid of this sooner. I literally left my desk at this time and came back to see it just coming down. So I had to take my full loss on it, really. This one, after commissions, I lost $49.49. 2 losses. The rest are winners, so that's not too bad. I'm just going to keep looking for the highest quality setups, really. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm going to bring out another video which shows all of my trading stats, overall P&L. It should be quite an interesting video, so keep an eye out for that one. It should be out in the next day or two. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.